Hi everyone, I'm Sandra, mom. My son Ben, who has substance use disorder, is not with with me today. Two things I want to talk about. One, we just celebrated 4 years of doing our YouTube channel, SpiritToLive, sharing our experiences over the last 4 years. And the second thing is I want to talk about my rock bottom. We've done a couple of videos on rock bottom, and Ben has shared his experiences, and I will link those two videos below. But today I want to share my rock bottom. Before I do that, I just want to say thank you all for your love and support over the last 4 years. Since I have been doing these videos, we've done over 170 videos, sharing our journey, our experiences, and hopefully giving hope to others who are in the same situation. I've sat on a mental health advisory board. I have talked to a number of high school classes about my journey, given them the opportunity to ask any questions, and those have been so enlightening, and I am so grateful that they have invited me again to speak to the students. Also, I've done a couple of guest speaking venues, and this is my journey, and I am going to share what I do to better my life and deal with the harsh realities of addiction and mental health disorders. So let's get to it. Rock bottom. Now, Ben has hit his rock bottom a number of times, and like I said, he did 2 videos. One is called Motivation Stemming from Rock Bottom. He wasn't sober at the time when he did that video, but he had a lot of great points. And another one that he did, and he was like 3 months sober when he did that video, admitting rock bottom, and he spoke of his rock bottoms and how it's changed him, and how at times he was in denial. So if you're interested, I'll link those videos below. But meanwhile, I wanted to share what my rock bottom is. As a loved one, loved ones and people with substance use disorder, usually, not in all cases, it takes a rock bottom before we find support and help. And for me, I had some major rock bottoms that have truly changed my life. And I've spoken of it in other videos. And one of the rock bottoms I hit was when I finally got out of denial and I realized that this was a problem. And it was during one of Ben's hospitalizations. He was hospitalized due to an overdose, and they had found morphine and fentanyl in his system. He thought he had used heroin. For me, it was rock bottom, because all of a sudden I'm hearing he's using fentanyl, that scary drug that is killing people, and heroin. I had already a perception of what a person that uses heroin looks like, and it was a shock to me to admit that this was my son. My son was using these hard drugs. And so that was just one of the rock bottoms. And another rock bottom that I had was when I had to drive Ben to a shelter for the first time. I never thought that it would ever come to that, driving him to a shelter and I go off to my own home. And the other rock bottom that I'm calling rock bottom for me, because these are points in my life that has really changed me. And that was when Ben was overdosing. He was deep into his addiction, and I would go to see him wherever he was living, whether it was a shelter, the streets, wherever. And I would say goodbye to him and tell him I love him. And I would hug him, because I wasn't sure if it was going to be the last time I ever saw him. And it was really tough, because we know that addiction can be fatal. And at that point, I really, truly didn't know if it was going to be the last time I'd see Ben. And that was probably my lowest, when I really realized where he was at and that I couldn't control anything that he did. And I see it now as a blessing. Why do I see it as a blessing? Because that is when I started to learn what addiction was all about, and I found supports. And what I learned is that really it's about me. It's about taking care of myself. It's about educating myself. It's about learning what I can and cannot do. and I could still love Ben, be there to support him, but I don't have to be there when he is in a state, whether it's alcohol or drugs, and I don't need to be in that world with him. But I do make sure that he knows I love him and support recovery. So there are rock bottoms, and then I've had what I call glitches. Glitches are when something happens with Ben and all my tools go out the window and I react, or I overreact, and I do something that really isn't beneficial to the situation. And I had a glitch just last weekend with Ben, and I actually lost it with him. He had done something that shocked me, and I reacted. And I wasn't proud of it, but you know, I'm human, and I'm human, and I make mistakes. And you know, that's part of this program. I continue to go to meetings because I need the support, and it happens. I always say, and we always say, progress, not perfection. So I gave myself the grace, I forgave myself, and I sat with it, and I looked at why I reacted that way. And so it's like when you fall off the wagon, well, I just got right back on. And it's a learning lesson. Anytime I have a glitch, I sit with it and I see what happened and how I could deal with it differently. I also tighten up my boundaries, because I may also get comfortable with my boundaries and the way I deal with things, that sometimes it's second nature, but at other times, if I'm tired or I'm not in a good headspace, I react. And we are human, we make mistakes, but I think what's important is when we make those mistakes is that we learn something from it, and we make change, and looking at it as an opportunity. And I know Ben has said this before, there are no mistakes, just life lessons. So it's what we do with it. You know, I've also seen people over the years come to a Narnon meeting, and they come because they are looking for that magic something to fix their addict, their loved one that has the substance use disorder. And what they soon realize is that they don't have control over what their loved one does, but they do have control over what they do. And all I can say is, if you are one of those loved ones, there are tools out there for you. But we also have to come to the point where we realize that, you know, our lives have become unmanageable. And that's the first step. That's the first step in the 12-step program, whether it's for a loved one or for someone who has a substance use disorder, is that we admitted we were powerless over the addiction or the addict, and that our lives had become unmanageable. And once we get to that point, whether it's a rock bottom or some situation or something's not working for you and you're getting sick because of it, just know there are the support groups. And once you get to that point and you find the support, I just want to say, it is work. It doesn't just happen. You don't just go to meetings and learn. You need to do the work. And I am so grateful that I'm in recovery, and that I am able to use my tools, and that if I have a glitch, that I can forgive myself and give myself that space and that grace to move forward and learn from it. So for me, I choose seeing rock bottom as a blessing, because without that, I would have never have gotten support or educated myself with what addiction is all about and what I can and cannot do. It's hard work, but I know I'm worth it, and I'm living a joyful life. And I know the holidays are coming, and it can be tough for many of us. And if I have an opportunity, I'll do a video on the holidays and what I do, because I feel you out there. It can be really difficult. So again, I thank you all so much for your support over the last 4 years. I will continue to share my journey. I hope one day that Ben will choose to do a video with me. And if not, I'm there to share my journey, my experiences, what works for me. I would never tell anybody what to do because there is no right or wrong. I know what's worked for me. And I thank you all for your support and love. And I will link below the 2 videos that Ben has done on rock bottom. And I will also link below the supports that are out there, whether you have a substance use disorder or you are a loved one. I thank you all. And please remember, where there is breath, there is hope. Take care, everyone. Thanks again.